Okay, so we continue with writing a literature in psychology. I want to again point out that I am not trying to teach us how to browse the work, and remember we are doing experiment. So it depending on when we conduct experiments, then I may need to come back again and do a lot of things, but with what we are doing is comprehensive enough for your exam and everything. So we have done what is necessary in the first subheading, which is title and author. We also talked about in the previous video about abstract, what and what that must be seen in your abstract. And now we are in the third subheading, which is introduction. Yes, introduction. Here we write it also at the middle. You know, it's different from how we write what is it called, thesis or project works. In project works, you would have written in the middle chapter 1, and by the left you have introduction, right? But wherever you place this one, the major thing is that this is the first subheading. There's no chapters in article writing, right? So introduction, here I will be it will be very important to know what we have here. Very important. So, and it's very important for this exam. In this section we start with the background of the study. Please take note. If you go to departments like sociology, public admin, you will see them writing a subheading. Like after writing introduction, the next thing you see another subheading, background of the study. No, in psychology we don't write that subheading, but we must give background of the study. So once we write introduction, we start with a paragraph. Academic performance has been seen to be on a declining level among university students. Over time, you tell us about statistics. You tell us about male perform this, female perform that. I'm giving, for example, with my work, right? So what I'm trying to say, for example, if somebody is working on substance use, you tell us that it has resulted to this over time. The results, World Health Organization showed that these persons die, so number of persons die. This thing has been seen to be a detrimental whatsoever, right? This is just an introduction. Now, you will continue this way, maybe one page, not one page, 2 paragraphs or 1 paragraph, right? Then you are gradually, from there you introduce your dependent variable. Please, importantly, this is a skill you are acquiring currently as I listen to this voice note or this video. It's not actually something you should go and do later. If not, we shouldn't be here, right? So take notes. After the background, the next variable you should discuss should be your dependent variable. So in fact that background is all about the problem you came with. You came to improve academic performance, right? So you are already telling us in the background that it has been a problem and it's this and that. Over time, there has been a decline and all of those things. You give us some statistics, talk about the prevalence of the problem, right? The next paragraph will now come about telling us conceptual definitions. You start defining academic performance refers to the level of output as this or that and that and that. You start saying, according to research, according to the other person, you cite the person. He stated that academic performance is this. The other person said is that. It should be differentiated from this and that. You understand? You try to relate it with some variables that it should be related to, and you try to differentiate it from variables it should be differentiated from. After that, you are continuing from your dependent variable, you are hitting your independent variable or variables. It shouldn't be only one IV most times, right? So I can have the role of, okay, let me not use that, but for my work, I'm using mood this time. Mood and gender difference on academic performance, these two variables now. Most times we don't use all these discrete variables, but this is an experiment, so I can still compare their age, right? So I will, from academic performance, enter the next paragraph. Maybe I've taken academic performance on 3 paragraphs. I'll start the next paragraph with the first independent variable, which is what is it called, mood, right? I'll start talking about mood. This refers to this refers to that, and people who are this has been this physiologically. The hormones responsible for this are serotonin and all of those things. Gamma aminobutyric acid has a role. You understand? I'm giving for example, right? I'll start defining according to this person. When I said adrenaline or serotonin has a role to play, I have to cite somebody. I'm not an authority yet, right? This is why you have to review literature, right? You know what people said and everything. So after that, the next one is the second independent variable. You talk about all your independent variables and other variables that I did not discuss with you guys in this work. We have mediating variable, moderating variable, which for experimental design is not what we'll talk about today, or for this course, yes. So I have done a good job in that level. Now, after doing this and concluding well, please, I want to add this for some of you that understand that you are a psychology student and you are going to have this skill. Many of you will have this skill one day and it will be a very lucrative something you will be glad you had. So in your project writing or this article writing, please remember there's a need to synergize your paragraphs. Synergy in paragraphs is very important. So when I finished my background, where I was talking about the problem in academic performance in the country or in the system currently, at that point I entered the next paragraph and I started talking about what is academic performance and this and that and that. I cannot just end the paragraphs at that point and jump and start talking about mood. No, I would have ended with a last sentence that would be like, okay, some researchers have shown that mood has several implications or several roles to play in our academic performance. I could cite the person that said that, full stop. Then next paragraphs, I have the right to continue and now say mood refers to. Mood is defined as, do you see that? This is synergy. There is no gap or breakdown in transmission or in communication. They flow synergically. Is very important. So, having said that, the next subheading you will have is called statement of problem. I'll summarize this after I'm done. So statement of problem comes next. In statement of problem, you will try to give us some, this will not pass one paragraph. Like a lot of things you said up in this introduction, you tell us that academic performance has been seen to do this and do that. You quote somebody. Over time, people have said it because of family problem and financial problem. You cite them. These are the things you discuss up, right? And over time, others show that it as a reason of systemic decline in education materials and these, you cite the person. However, no research and blah 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 has tried to consider the role of mood or psychological constructs in the problem of academic performance. This is a gap in knowledge for which your work want to fill by answering the following question. Okay, I hope I'm doing a good job. This is a nice statement of problem, right? I've done that. So here you have stated your problem, and it's just like going to a doctor. Going to a doctor's and doctor asks you what is the problem. It's okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling headache, and I thought it's this. I've tried to take paracetamol, but it's not working, so I came to ask a question. And the next thing you have is the question. You provide the question, and the question is the next thing we are going to be talking about, but I want to continue that in our next video. Okay, so thank you and see you in the next video.